All right. Well, people can carry on adding stuff, but we should get started. Kieron, looks like you're first up.
All right, cool. Yeah, so Danny and I have been working this week on switching the install from using Kustomize to Helm. So there's a few things people need to be aware of with that. So we mentioned in the proposal that this kind of interferes with the kbld Kustomize flow that we've had up till now. The good news with that is all the YAML generation and the code generation is still in there. We managed to preserve the whole lot of it. So that's cool. So when you make manifest, make generate, whatever, that all still happens. There's been a few little things where we've had to go and add things like object selectors to webhooks and things, and they've entered the make files as just using sed and things to insert things into the manifests. But all the automation's there, so that's cool. I suppose one major difference if you're consuming the YAML from Korifi is running Kustomize to generate that isn't going to work anymore. So now you have to use Helm template instead. Shouldn't be a major issue. And if you could fiddle around with the values files as well and make sure what comes out is very near to what you want as well, if that fits into the workflow. And I suppose the final thing is with Helm, we've managed to create a parent Helm chart, which includes all the 5 components we've got at the moment. And we're just today working on changing the CI and the deploy on kind script to install that chart instead. Looks pretty good, actually. So we have a values file, which includes image tags for each of the deployments. We process that using kbld. Kbld automatically parallelizes the builds. It seems to use the cache nicely as well. So if you only make a change to one component, it's going to be very, very quick. It uses shars that actually match the contents. So if stuff's already been deployed, it won't force a restart. So deploy on kind has got quick again, which is nice, because that was getting very slow. And it's a lot better than doing that silly parallel thing I attempted. Yeah, so that's the update on that. So a couple of things to watch out for. Mainly the consuming the YAML output needs to change.
Cool. I don't know if I've completely captured what you just said, but feel free to go back and revise it. All sounds positive.
So next is we got a couple of issues reported by Adam Fowler. We should probably have a look at them. Why not fix them in the upcoming release? They don't seem to be something huge, but it's great that Korifi is gaining the attention of non-Korifi maintainers. That's great.
Yeah. I know Tim's had a look at them and kind of went through and put some comments on and whatnot. But one of the things that I noticed was that he was offering to contribute PRs or whatnot. I feel like we should encourage that. Just as a way of kind of increasing engagement, like if somebody's offering to help, it would be good. It would be good to allow them to help. But yeah, we should, one way or another, we should get those things addressed. Alrighty. Well, there's no other thoughts about that, I guess. Brings us on to KubeCon.
Yeah, coming right up, isn't it? Thank you for everyone that signed up for booth duty for the Cloud Foundry booth, which will be both Korifi and paketo build packs. One thing that we haven't addressed with anyone yet that I want to talk to, and a lot of the folks that might be pertinent to this aren't on this call, but so we've got a physical booth where we'll be having ideally someone from Korifi and someone who works at paketo at all slots, in addition to both Ram and I. But there's also a virtual booth, right? Because we're in this fun sort of tail end of the pandemic phase. And that'll probably be the case for, I think, most tech conferences going forward. And in that, there's an option for office hours. So that'll be just a time in the virtual booth where someone can come and chat, or there's a few ways you can approach that. You could have a presentation, or it could just be like, come and ask questions. And I guess from chatting with the events team, that these actually do get a decent amount of traction. So I think it's a good opportunity. So I'm thinking there might be just a half an hour office hours, both on the Wednesday and Thursday of KubeCon, wherein someone can come and ask questions about Korifi. Looking at the sign up list, it looks like if we're going to just go with the way people have signed up, both Andrew Whitrock and Eric Malm both are on one slot each day. So I think it might be easiest to have one person do both. But we can also play around with that. So you can check with Andrew about that, or Eric, if you have an opinion. That's great too. But I think it's a good opportunity, so we should do that. And I'll talk to paketo about the other office hours as well. But so that's just one minor detail that we still have to figure out going into it. Other than that, I think we're pretty well on track. Eric, any thoughts on that? I mean, I think Andrew actually might be interested in that, but I haven't reached out to him yet.
I know I've got some obligations at the VMware booth as well, so
Right.
I'd have to take a look. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's other folks on who might be interested. But if we were going to do one office hours a day, then it would, like, Andrew or Eric makes the most sense because they've signed up for one slot each day. But that's something I'll follow up on. Maybe I'll ping Andrew directly on that, and then see if that's something he wants to do. Should be pretty straightforward. I mean, just people asking questions online, virtual booth while he's at the physical booth. But we can discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Ram and I have been finalizing the sort of handouts. And I know you all had some input in that. And some folks wanted a more stripped down version where it was just maybe like QR code and the ubiquitous Cloud Foundry haiku modified for the Kubernetes era. So I think we might have two different things, right? Because we were talking about it as like there might be it would be good to have some kind of there'd be some kind of like for folks talking about Korifi, like some sort of thing to just show people there at the booth that just kind of goes into the architecture a little bit and describes the value propositions and whatnot. But then to take with them, like most of those flyers that get handed out at booths at KubeCon do end up in the trash, or just go home with them, and then a week later, someone looks at them. Maybe that's the best case scenario. So we might have a smaller handout that just has like a QR code that drives people to the website and just kind of tries to keep all that content in one place. But yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on that, or happy to take more feedback on that. But yeah, we're wrapping up most of those things right now. We're also finalizing videos for which will just be a couple of base slides, screenshots from the websites, and like very simple slides that'll be playing behind us at the actual booth. So anyway, this is sort of the last call for input on those things. And I guess I'll reach out to Andrew first and foremost. I think it'd be good for that office hours thing. But if someone else is interested, well, I'm sure we can play around with the schedule a little bit.
Cool. Feels like
That's all I had on that.
North America colleagues are mostly still asleep.
Right. So yeah, we can follow up on this on Slack. So I guess the next item is also mine. Congratulations on the 0.3. Does anyone want to write a blog post highlighting the various changes and new features in that? I would think this would be a really nice thing to get done in the next couple of weeks, pre-kubecon.
I already received a message on Slack from Georgi asking me if I wanted to write it. And I said, well, obviously, I'm like the one that this work defaults to. So I said maybe, but we're still going to try asking around a few times.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it can be pretty straightforward and like, high level, but just something that just, it looks like there's several changes. I at first glance, I can't tell which ones are of major significance or which ones are really minor. But it would be nice to get something out. So there's just like this is the most current release and these are the features and where we're at. That'd be great to get in sometime this month.
Okay, well, the next one is mine. Came up in another meeting. We have a meeting that conflicts with this meeting for VMware, but of course, this is middle of the week at 8:30 is kind of a hot time slot. So we were wondering if it's feasible to move this meeting to Wednesdays or whether that would just be a non-starter. Apparently, there's like a TOC meeting that sometimes happens on Wednesdays. I think Eric pointed out that it would be somewhat awkward to try to interleave it because the TOC meeting is once a month, which it doesn't align to every other week. But I don't know, just tossing it out there. I don't know if we even have the right people to ask. But
well, the TOC meeting is right before this call right now, so there wouldn't be any conflict there. It does like the CAB call.
Oh, maybe that's the one I was
yeah,
thinking
that's once a month. There's also the only other like community. Nope, the happy office hours is a bit later. So there's just that. There'd be a conflict with the CAB call, but honestly, that could be changed too if there's a significant like conflict with this time slot. I don't see that being a problem. Maybe to Wednesday, just adjust the CAB call a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, up to you all. But.
All right. Well, we'll take that back. Discuss amongst ourselves, I guess. And the last thing is from Ram.
Yes. So there's an opportunity to demo Korifi with a third-party media website. So Chris and I are going to be delivering this demo together, and we'll basically be going to, doing like a couple of CF pushes to Korifi installations and just showcase, hey, this is the deployment and this is what we've got. So some of the things that we intend to obviously talk about and Showcase are, Korifi is basically able to deploy to Kubernetes. The Kubernetes providers can be something as simple as like a local kind cluster or something remote somewhere. And then, the experience is exactly the same. And then just sort of flip the axis and do like, here's a Node.js app, here's a Ruby app, here's a, I don't know, Java or Spring app, and all of those deploy the exact same way with the exact same comfort, and sort of walk folks through like the build process that gets logged, and say, this is where build packs kick in, this is where everything else comes. And so here's your source, here's your URL, and basically you need to do very little in the process. So that's sort of what we have as a rough outline. But we're sort of open to any ideas in terms of messaging that people want to highlight, people want to showcase, and people want to say that this is like a particular differentiator that would merit from like, Korifi's 5 minutes of fame, so to say. So if you have specific thoughts, do share. It could be here, it could be on Slack. I'll post a message to everybody later today just to sort of create that thread. You can add your ideas on the Slack thread if that's more convenient.
Is this an existing Cloud Foundry user that you're demoing this for, or?
Oh no, this is going to a media site. So we partner with TFIR, who does like regular interviews and things like that. And so one of the segments that they're trying to pilot is some stuff with technical demos, as opposed to just interviewing people and talking things through. So we're going to TFIR with this, and it's going to be recorded and edited and published on their YouTube channel.
Cool.
So yeah, so I'll create that thread on Slack if folks want to post there. I guess it's somewhat more convenient. But just following up on that, for the demo, if there's a public instance that's already available, and one that we could borrow, if there's something that folks are using for testing or things like that, it will be convenient to just borrow that instance, I guess, and make use of it.
I was thinking we've got an acceptance cluster, which doesn't do much apart from host a couple of apps that we use. Tends to stay up and working. So yeah, we could. Danny, I think that's okay to share that, isn't it?
I think so. Maybe we should just not forget to post the pipeline for that hour.
Yeah.
So that we don't break something.
So again, I'll follow up on Slack on specific time slots that we needed for this week. Maybe folks can help in trying to carve out that time slice and see if that works, or find workarounds if it doesn't.
I mean, yeah, we need to work out how to get you logged onto it as well. But yeah.
This is it on GCP? Or?
Yep.
So could either just run the create user script on it, or just use the, presumably there's an existing CF admin.
Yeah, we could just send you a private key and certificate thing that you can use.
Just
Yeah.
a kube config file.
Yeah. Apparently it's all right to send private keys around.
It's state of the art, in fact. Everybody's doing it. Okay, well, any closing thoughts? All right. I'm not hearing any closing thoughts. So good morning, good evening, etc.
Thanks, everyone.
See you all in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.